Hi, welcome to this channel. Today we are going to talk about the Isonic Maasai tribes of Kenya. Kenya is an Isonic African safari destination and home to the Maasai tribe. The Maasai are well known for their unique culture and tribal dressing. The Maasai tribe are an indigenous ethnic group in Africa of semi-nomadic people settled in Kenya and northern Tanzania. Due to their distinct traditions, customs, and dress, and their residence near the many national game parks of Africa and East Africa, the Maasai are among the foremost African ethnic groups and are known internationally because of their link to the national parks and reserves. The Maasai tribe speaks the Ma language, which is a language derived from Nilo-Saharan related to Dinka and Nuer. They also speak the official languages of Tanzania and Kenya, which is Swahili and English. Although the Kenyan and Tanzanian government have established programs to encourage the Maasais to leave behind their traditional semi-nomadic lifestyle, the Maasai people have carried on their old age customs. However, this is changing every day. This is how the Maasai in Kenya were forced out of their original lands. Commencing with the 1904 treaty and followed by another treaty in 1911, Maasai lands in Kenya were cut down by 60% when the British evicted them to allow space for settler ranches, thus confining the Maasai people to present-day Narok and Kajiado districts. The Maasai in Tanzania were forced out from their fertile lands between Mount Kilimanjaro and Mount Meru and most of their fertile mountain regions near the Ngorongoro in the 1940s. More land was claimed to create national parks and wildlife reserves such as Maasai Mara, Samburu, Ngorongoro, Amboseli, Nairobi National Park, the Serengeti, Lake Nakuru, Manyara, and Tarangire. Maasai are traditionalists and have resisted the urging of the Kenyan and Tanzanian government to adopt a more modern lifestyle. The Maasai have rightfully demanded pastoralising and grazing rights to several of the national parks in both Tanzania and Kenya. The Maasai tribe stood firm against slavery and lived alongside most of the land's wild animals. Let's talk about the Maasai shelter. The Maasai tribe, historically a nomadic people, have traditionally relied on readily available materials and indigenous technology to construct their unusual and interesting housing called the manyatas. The traditional Maasai house was designed for people on the move, and thus their houses were very temporary in nature. The Nkajijik houses are either circular or loaf-shaped and are made by women. Isn't that interesting? It is not in most cultures that we find women building houses, but for the Maasai, it is a women. Their villages are enveloped in a circular enkang fence built by the men, and this protects their cattle at night from wild animals. Let's talk about the Maasai culture. The Maasai society is firmly patriarchal in nature, with elder Maasai men sometimes joined by retired elders determining most major matters for the Maasai tribes. The Maasai people are monotheistic and their god is named Engai or Enkai. For Maasai people living a traditional way of life, the end of life is virtually without a formal funeral ceremony, and the dead are left out in the fields for scavengers. Burial has in the past been reserved for great chiefs only, since it is believed by the Maasai that burial is harmful to the soil. Traditional Maasai people's lifestyle concentrate on their cattle, which make up the primary source of food. Among us, the Maasai and several other ethnic groups, the measure of a man's wealth is in terms of children and cattle. So the more, the better. A man who has plenty of cattle but not many children is considered to be poor, and vice versa. A Maasai myth says that God afforded them all the cattle on earth, resulting in the belief that rustling from other tribes is a matter of claiming what is rightfully theirs, a practice that has now become much less common. We are living in the modern world. There are also two pillars or totems of Maasai society: Ondo Mongi, the red cow, and Orok Kiteng, the black cow, with a subdivision of 5 clans or family trees. The Maasai also have a totemic animal, which is the lion. However, the animal can be killed. The way the Maasai kill the animal or the lion differs from trophy hunting, as it is used in the rite of passage ceremony. One common misconception of nowadays about the Maasai is that each young man is supposed to kill a lion before he can be circumcised and enter adulthood. Lion hunting was an activity of the past, but it has been banned in East Africa. However, lions are still hunted when they maul Maasai livestock. Nevertheless, killing a lion gives one great value and celebrity status in the Maasai community. The central human figure in the Maasai religious system is the Laibon, whose roles include shamanistic healing, divination, and prophecy, and ensuring success in war or adequate rainfall. Today they have a political role as well due to the elevation of leaders. Whatever power an individual Laibon had was a function of personality rather than position. Many Maasai have also adopted Christianity or Islam. The traditional Maasai diet consists of 6 basic foods, which are meat, blood, milk, fat, honey, and tree bark. They drink both fresh and curdled milk. The fresh milk is drunk from calabash, and sometimes it is mixed with fresh cattle blood. The blood is obtained by nicking the jugular vein of the cow. Mixed blood and milk is mostly used as a ritual drink and as nourishment for the sick. Bulls, oxen, and lambs are slaughtered for meat on special occasions and for ceremonies. The byproducts of the animals, which are the skins and hides, are used as bedding, while cow dung is used for building. It is smeared on the walls. The Maasai entire way of life truly revolves around their cattle. More recently, the Maasai people have supplemented their diet with farm crops such as maize meal, rice, cabbage, among other food crops. However, they say that cabbage and all these farm crops are goat's food. The Maasai clothing varies by sex, age, and place. Young men wear black for several months after their circumcision, although red is a favored color among the Maasai people. Black, blue, and checked and striped cloth are also worn together with multicolored African garments. In the 1960s, the Maasai began to replace sheepskin, calf hides, and animal skin for more commercial material. The cloth used to wrap around the body is called the shuka in the Ma language. The Maasai people, both men and women, mostly shave their head to celebrate rites of passage such as circumcision and marriage. These represent the fresh start that will be made as one passes from one to another of life's chapters. It's only the Maasai warriors who are allowed to wear long hair, which they weave in thinly braided strands. The Maasai children are named upon reaching the age of 3 months, and their heads are shaved clean apart from a tuft of hair which resembled a cockade from the nape of the neck to the forehead. The young boys are also shaved 2 days before they are circumcised. The young warriors then allow their hair to grow and spend a great deal of time styling their hair. Let's talk about the Maasai music and dance. The Maasai people don't use instruments when they are singing or dancing. All of their music is vocal, except for the large horns used for certain songs. Their music comprises of rhythms rendered by a chorus of vocalists singing harmonies, all while the Olaranyani song leader sings the melody. The Olaranyani is usually the person who can best sing that song. When Olaranyani starts singing a line or title number of a song, the group responds with one anonymous call in acknowledgement. The beads that both the men and women wear also create a jingling sound themselves while the Maasai jump and dance. Women recite lullabies, hum songs, and sing music that praises their sons. The peak season for singing and dancing is during the rains, which is of course favorable time to celebrate important passages of life such as circumcision and marriage. These mostly occur around the Manyatas and involve flirting. Let's talk about the Maasai medicine. The Maasai people tend to use the environment when making their medicines due to the high cost of Western treatments. These medicines are derived from trees, shrubs, stems, roots, etc. These can be used in a multitude of ways, including being boiled in soups and ingested to improve digestion and cleanse the blood. Some of these remedies can also be used in the treatment or prevention of illness. The Maasai people also add herbs to different foods to avoid stomach upset and give digestive aid. The use of plant-based medicine is a crucial part of the Maasai life and culture. Like many other African cultures, the Maasais have not been left out in the influence of the modern world on their culture. Government policies focusing on the preservation of their national parks and reserves, with the exclusions of the culturally rich Maasai tribe, have now made the traditional Maasai way of life increasingly difficult to maintain and preserve for coming generations to experience and learn about. During recent years, projects have been implemented to help Maasai tribal leaders find a way to preserve their traditions and way of life, while also trying to balance the educational needs of the Maasai children for the modern world. Many Maasai people have styled away from the nomadic life to positions in business, commerce, and governmental roles. Yet, despite the modernized urban lifestyle they lead, many Maasai still happily head homewards, clothes in designer brands, only to emerge from the traditional lands wearing their traditional colorful shuka, cowhide sandals, and with a wooden orinka in their hand, at ease with themselves and the world. I'm happy that Maasais up to now still uphold their clothing and most of their cultures, unlike most African cultures, and they make us proud as Kenya, as East Africa, and as African. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for the far that you've come. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share.